Good evening. Welcome to the Municipality of South Dundas Council meeting for Wednesday, April 29th, 2026. I have a resolution. Let it resolve that the Council Municipality of South Dundas now open its meeting at 5:26 p.m. Moved by Deputy Mayor St. Pierre, seconded by Councillor Smith. All in favor? Carried. Item number 2, closed session. Let it resolve that the Council of South Dundas move into in-camera session at 5:26 p.m. to discuss the following items under Section 239 of the Municipal Act: litigation, potential litigation, plans and instructions for negotiations, and plans and instructions for negotiations. Moved by Councillor Vino, seconded by Councillor Ward. All in favor? Carried. The recording will pause and we'll rejoin you when we come to open session. Thank you for joining us for the council meeting for Wednesday, April 29th, 2026. I'd like to call a motion, let it be resolved that the council rise and reconvene into open session at 6:12 p.m. Moved by Councillor Ward, seconded by Councillor Smith. All in favor? Carried. Confirmation of agenda. Are there any additions or amendments to tonight's agenda? I would like to pull out item 10E, the information of the Municipal Engineers Association, and have CEO Dahan give us an update on that topic, as he was involved in that information session. Move to discussion, please. Any others? Seeing none, I have a motion. Let it resolve that the Council of the Municipality of South Dundas approve the agenda as amended. Moved by Councillor Vino, seconded by Deputy Mayor St. Pierre. All in favor? Carried. Disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. I will disclose on discussion item 11A, key information report on the Plaza user fees. Councillor Vino.
Yeah, I must disclose in the same one, 11A.
Thank you very much. Any other disclosures tonight? Seeing none, moving to adoption of minutes. Number 5, any errors or omissions to the April 8th, 15th, and 16th meeting notes? Councillor Smith.
Sorry about that. I don't have my agenda loaded yet, but I did see an omission on it was the Morseburg Open House meeting. Director Jansen's name was missing from it just said Director of Parks and Recreation, but no name. And also I believe that Mrs. Orendi was present as well, and she was not listed.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Touching with detail. Clerk will amend the minutes noting those omissions. I'll have a motion to accept the adopted minutes as amended for April 8th, April 15th. Sorry, Councillor Ward. Oh, yeah, sorry. All in favor? Okay, no, sorry. Moved by Councillor Ward, seconded by Deputy Mayor St. Pierre. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Yeah, I got the form there. Sure. Okay, delegations, and we will start off with 6A, the Iroquois Matilda Lions Club. Iroquois play structure. Von Delegard and team. Who do we got tonight? Oh, okay. You don't look like a Von. I got Von was on my meeting notes, so welcome. Thank you for coming.
Your Worship, Mayor Jason Broad, Deputy Mayor Mark St. Pierre, and Councillors Danielle Ward, Tom Smith, and Cole Vigneault. Thank you for allowing Lion Steve Wilson and I to speak on behalf of the Iroquois Matilda Lions and the opportunity for us to present our partnership proposal. I am Carol. Okay. Liony Von Delegard, who is a co-project lead, sends her regrets this evening as she is unable to attend the meeting. Rather than reviewing the entire presentation, we will summarize and invite your questions, comments, or concerns. I would like to introduce Lion Steve Wilson, who is currently our club's treasurer and who will serve as our club president next year. Lion Steve will be actively involved in this project as well.
Thanks, Lion Carol. You have your trappings, Mayor, and we have ours. I bring my formal vest to let everyone know that I am a Lion. Next year in 2027, the Iroquois Matilda Lions will celebrate their 80th anniversary. In those years, we have supported the communities of the village of Iroquois and the former township of Matilda. And we are a part of Lions International. Lions International has over 1.4 million members and over 50,000 clubs worldwide. In our area, there are 2 Lions clubs in South Dundas and 5 in Dundas County. So it's an organization that is spread around significantly. And as a matter of fact, in the presentation, it talks about some of our past accomplishments, but I just wanted to point out that last year we donated over $80,000 to this community to over 50 charities. Our focus primarily is our local community and those that reside in it and the charities that are represented there. But at the same time, we also know that there are charities outside our communities that our residents need. So we support them as well. One of our biggest projects last year was taking all of the Lions clubs in the area. We merged our funds, we applied to Lions Clubs International for a matching grant, and we provided a large donation to the Dundas Manor project. So we're very proud of what we do. We have in the past created legacy projects that are still in the community. We have the band shell up at the point, the picnic shelter there, the 3 picnic structures at the beach have all been installed and built by our Lions Club. So to mark our 80th anniversary, we want to do something similar. So that's why you have the proposal before you. One of our global challenges, Lions International has 8 global challenges that they offer to all our clubs, and one of them is youth. We believe this project will support youth, and in addition to that, we're very proud of our Student Lions program. We have high school students that join our club, stay with us for a year or 2, and we hope that helps them learn volunteering and volunteerism.
We are here this evening to request your approval in principle utilizing the capital funding program. A grant to match our proposed financial investment of $25,000 as a foundation for the Iroquois Beach play structure. We will be working close with David Jensen, Director of Parks and Recreation, throughout the process, as well as the Iroquois Waterfront Committee. The Iroquois Matilda Lions are excited about this community project, and it will no doubt bring joy and laughter to many people. Thank you for your time and consideration of our proposal this evening.
Well, thank you, Lion Carol and Lions. Thank you, Lion Carol and Lion Steve. Thank you for coming here tonight and sharing your story. And please pass on to you and your organization, the Iroquois Matilda Lions Club, how great I appreciate all the things you do in South Dundas, the amount of money you raise, the events you participate in, and just being part of the community is amazing. And we thank all the Lions and all the volunteers, and yours is a special one as well. And I'm in support, and the reason why I'm going to be in support, many reasons, but I'm going to read you from the Recreation Master Plan, page 99. Looking ahead, play structures have been identified in the Iroquois Commons Waterfront Park Plan. Establishing a playground along the waterfront is the best practice in many communities as it strengthens public beaches and family-friendly destination. As part of updating the Iroquois Commons Waterfront Park Plan, the municipality should evaluate the feasibility and public support for a playground at this location. You have my support.
Thank you.
Great.
Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of feedback here from somewhere.
Here, let me try.
This one?
I was going to ask a question, but he just answered the question on why the waterfront. Good for you to pull that out. No, I think it's a fabulous initiative. I will, and I noticed it's in your presentation, I would 100% encourage you to work with the Waterfront Committee, as we know they've got a vision that they've been working on for the last 5, 6, 7 years. They've done some tremendous work. I know that we've talked about play structures and where they should be placed and if it's a good idea or not to have them down by the beach. I know that I believe they've got the buy-in as well. I won't speak for everybody because I'd like to see you come to the committee, maybe the next committee meeting if you're available. David, would you happen to have that date? It's May 20th, I think, off the top of my head. But it'd be nice if you guys could join us for that, or maybe one in June, just to go over everything. And yeah, no, I think it's great. I think it's a great initiative for sure.
We have
Thank you.
thought of that, and as a matter of fact, one of our club members is also a member of the Waterfront Committee. So that ensures the communication will be transparent.
Thank you.
Very good. Yeah, Councilor Ward.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. So first off, thank you. This is an awesome proposal. It's something that makes all of us happy, and as a mother of young children, makes me extremely happy because it brings something to the beach that otherwise is not there. So I really appreciate that. I also just wanted to highlight that last year you guys, the Lions Club won the Innovation Award and the Community Building Award. And this is why. Obviously, you are a huge cornerstone of our municipality, and I just wanted to say thank you. And to the mayor's point, I obviously support this as well. So thank you again.
Councilor Vino.
Yeah, through your mayor, full support for me. Just thank you very much for doing this. This is huge for the community. And if you need any help from me as my position here or my positions throughout the community, please reach out because I anything to do with recreation in our community, I'm very, very supportive of. So hit me up.
Thank you.
Very good. Councilor Smith.
Yeah, just pretty quick, like just full support. So good job, guys.
Great, thank you.
Well, thank you, Carol. Lion Carol and Lion Steve. Moving on to our next delegation. Lots of papers I'm shuffling tonight. Here we go. 6B, Canada Day delegation. Kristen Wilshire. Thanks, Kirsten, for joining us.
So good evening, Mayor Broad, Deputy Mayor St. Pierre, Councillor Smith, Councillor Ward, and Councillor Vino. I'm here this evening to discuss the planning of our 2026 Morrisburg Canada Day festivities. This event is approaching very quickly, and I'd like to review a few items just to ensure that we are on the same page, aligned. In past years, the municipality has generously provided barricades, picnic tables, garbage cans, garbage bags, and toilet paper for the permanent on-site washrooms. And for this, we're very grateful for this continued support. The music from last year will be returning, and we'd like to request access to the power stands again for this year's event. We're also seeking support for portable washrooms. Last year, we arranged for 8 porta potties and 3 hand washing stations through David Brown at a cost of $1,495.75. That included the delivery, pickup, and all taxes. And we aim to keep the event as cost-effective as possible for all attendees. And any assistance the municipality can provide in this area would be greatly appreciated. Thanks to the generosity of our community, we've reached a new milestone. This year, we will be offering bouncy castles and games free of charge for all the children. In previous years, council members have participated in a very entertaining pie-in-the-face activity. This year, we're proposing a chicken wing eating contest or a pie eating contest as a fun alternative. Thank you again to our council for your ongoing support and commitment to making this event memorable for our community. I welcome any questions.
Thank you, Kirsten. Appreciate it. Yeah, and I'm definitely willing to enter into any chicken wing eating contest for sure. The hotter the better. If we want to find some competitors, Deputy Mayor will be out on the hot wings, but I'm definitely willing to take on any challengers when it comes to hot chicken wings to support the Canada Day festivity. So I think that's great, and appreciate all the work your committee does. And I still, thinking back 3 years ago when we had that flyover, how impressive that was, and just how big our Canada Day celebration has grown, including how the community members in Iroquois and the Iroquois Business Group, that's all they talk about is the Canada Day celebration isn't in Morrisburg, right? So it's a community event and not just for Morrisburg, and how they advertise it and that's how they talk it, right? And it's important, and the great fireworks show for sure. Yeah, on the porta potties, maybe we have Director Jansen bring back a request to us, and then we can entertain that cost for that. One thing that's really important, open to the public, open to everybody, obviously, and when things are free for the children in the community, that's really important. So I appreciate all the work. Yeah, for sure. Other questions, comments? Deputy Mayor?
Sorry, I was just having a little bit of hard time hearing because I still have some cream in my ears from last year. Yeah, all in, again, whatever you need, let us know to a certain extent. Dunk tank, pie in the face twice. I can go for some wings, that's all right. I did notice too that when I just brought up the grants and donations, that it was mentioned about washrooms and supplies and stuff like that. So hopefully we'll just get that underway. But yeah, full support. I think it's a great community building and a great day, and hopefully the weather continues to hold up for us. So yeah, for sure. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Councillor Smith?
Yeah, through Mayor Brown, I just wanted to clarify, what was the ride situation last year? Was there a fee for ride? I can't remember.
Yeah, so we had Eve Hool did all the bouncy castles, and I believe there was a fee of $20 or $25 per child, and that gave you a wristband for the day. Unfortunately, we've lost Eve Hool. He's passed away, and so we had to look for other avenues, and we were able to find something that offers not only bouncy castles but a mini putt and. Well, that's a Kathy Mojer question. She has all the whole list of what, but from what we were able to do and what we've accumulated from last year, we're able to put it in.
In the budget.
Guarantee for free for all kids. Yeah.
That's great. Councillor Vino?
Yeah, through you, Mayor. Thank you for what you do. I know I'm involved in a lot of different events around the community. I know how difficult and how much work it is. So thank you for all the time you put in. And you said mini putt. I think that's a competition that I would be willing to pay for, is to watch these two in a mini putt competition. So maybe add that to your list.
Very good. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yes. Very good. And then we'll move to 6C, Clerk LeBrun, Iroquois in District Business Group Plaza petition. We're receiving that.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Broad, and through you. So included in the agenda tonight was the petition that we received from the Iroquois District Business Group, as you mentioned. We do have, the petition was included in the agenda as is. We have a report later on that if council wishes to discuss it, we can, but it was just more on the agenda for information purposes.
Very good. Thank you very much, Clerk LeBrun. Okay, moving on to 7A, ED 2026-01, South Branch Community Fund 2026 intake. Ms. Arende.
Thank you. And through you, Mayor Broad, as council is aware, South Dundas partners with South Branch Wind Farm Limited to administer this fund, which provides $30,000 annually in grant support to organizations within the catchment area near the South Branch Wind Farm. The review committee met on March 10th, looked over all of the applications, and are bringing forward the following three for council's approval. We have $5,000 to Matilda Memorial Recreation Committee to support several community events, $5,000 to Matilda Memorial Recreation for the repainting of pickleball courts, and $20,000 to the municipality itself to help fund roof repairs at Matilda Hall. Upon council's approval, successful applicants will be notified, and the South Branch Wind Farm Limited will be advised in accordance with the reporting requirements of the fund agreement. I can answer any questions council may have.
Yeah, no, thanks, Ms. Rende. I think it's great. The community event funding helps cover the request we had of for council donations. And pickleball is a growing sport, so that's great to see that. And to help out our community asset, that's great. And that's the area that the Matilda Hall lies in. So that's great contribution to help our asset and taxpayers overall. So appreciate the committee that runs this fund. Any other questions, comments? Oh, I have a motion. Let it resolve that the Council Municipality of South Dundas approve the following grant allocations from the South Branch Community Fund. Matilda Memorial Rec Committee, $5,000 for community events. Matilda Memorial Recreation Committee, $5,000 for painting of pickleball courts. And Municipality of South Dundas, $20,000 for Matilda roof repairs. Moved by Councillor Smith, seconded by Councillor Ward. All in favor? Carried. Okay, 7B, ES 2026-03, Fling Municipal Drain, reappointment of drainage assessment severance. Chris St. Thomas.
Good evening, thank you, and through you, Mr. Mayor. So my first report is a pretty common one. It's a reapportionment of the drainage assessment. It came up due to a severance of land. There is an agreement attached, signed by the landowners. So we're looking for a resolution from council to accept.
Questions, comments? Seeing none, I have a motion, let it be resolved that the Council of Municipality of South Dundas approves the resolution pursuant to Section 65-2 of the Drainage Act, RSO 1990, and that the draining assessment reappointment agreement for the Fling Municipal Drain Bylaw number 87-39 as submitted by the property owners in connection with the consent application B2524 and B2624 Farlinger as set out in the reappointment schedule attached to this report. Moved by Councilor Vino, seconded by Councilor Smith. All in favor? Carried. Moving along to 7B, ES 2603, ES 2026-04, Glen Becker Municipal Drain, minor improvement. Chris St. Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through you. So I had a landowner approach and was looking to add some culverts to a municipal drain. Under a new section of the Drainage Act 78.5, this is considered a minor improvement. So he has submitted a application for this, which is attached, and we're looking for council to accept the application and also to appoint the Shade Group Incorporated to do the engineering on this project.
Very good, thank you. Mr. St. Thomas, questions, comments? Seeing none, I have a resolution, let it be resolved that the Council of Municipality of South Dundas accept the notice of request for drain minor improvement submitted by Jeff and Louise Van Morsel, and that council appoint the Shade Group to prepare an engineering assessment report and project pursuant to Section 78-5 of the Drainage Act as amended. Moved by Councilor Ward, seconded by Deputy Mayor St. Pierre. All in favor? Carried. 7D, PRF 2026-12 grant application, Ease Grant. Director of Parks, Recreation Facilities, Director Jansen.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So this report this evening is with regards to the EASE grant. So the recreation team here, and along with the finance team, is always looking for grant opportunities. As Council might remember, we replied to the Rick Hansen Foundation for this project, I think just 2 or 3 months ago. This report's very similar to that. This is a program offered by the province aimed at improving accessibility. So we're looking at applying for the Iroquois Beach washrooms to continue to improve the accessibility at those facilities. So this is a resolution from Council to go into our grant application on the funding side.
Very good. Thank you for continuing to apply for any grants we may get. Questions and comments? Seeing none, I have a resolution. Let it resolve that the Council of Municipality of South Dundas support the submission of an application to the Provincial Enabling Assessment Fund, the EASE Grant program for the Iroquois Waterfront Washroom Accessibility Project, and the Council commits to funding the remaining costs associated through recreation facilities reserves should the grant application be successful. Moved by Councilor Smith, seconded by Councilor Ward. All in favor? Carried. And 7E, PRF 26-13 Municipal Grant Partnership, SNC Urban Forest Assessment and Planning. Director Jansen.
Yeah, so thank you, Mayor. So this is another grant application. This one actually came from our partners here at South Nation Conservation. 2 years ago, they reached out on a grant with regards to some tree planting. We were successful on that grant in the last couple of years. Actually, that grant's funded about 50% of the cost of any of our tree replacements that we've done. Another stream from the same provider comes out. SNC reached out to all of their 13 municipalities to see who was interested. We came up with a plan that worked for South Dundas. So this one has an 80% coverage, and the other 2,000 within the grant would be covered under our trees, maintenance, and replacement budget. So again, just looking for support of council in our grant application.
Questions, comments? Seeing none. I have a motion. Oh, sorry, did you have sorry. I have a motion. Whereas the municipality of South Dundas has an interest in increasing urban tree canopy within the municipality, and whereas South Nation River Conservation Authority is applying for funding opportunity from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Growing Canada's Community Canopies Initiative for urban forest inventories, risk assessments, and future planting opportunities, a municipal partnership. And whereas the municipality of South Dundas also recognizes that the Growing Canada's Community Canopies Initiative limits applications to the urban forest plans and studies, and that if approved, this project will be counted towards its limits. Therefore, let it be resolved that the Council Municipality of South Dundas approves partnering with the South Nation River Conservation Authority on the funding submission to Growing Canada's Canopies, and if approved, will contribute $2,000 toward this initiative as part of the 2027 budget. Moved by Councillor Smith. Thank you. Councillor Ward, all in favor? Carried. Okay, moving to bylaws. 8A, 2026-15, advance votes prior to voting day and reduced hours of voting at Chartwell, Hartford. Clerk LeBrun.
Thank you, Mayor Broad, and to council. So this evening is a report that looks probably a little bit familiar. This was brought to council, last council meeting on the 8th of April. And I got we received some really good feedback about our advanced polling dates. So the Municipal Elections Act requires us to pass a bylaw for our advanced polling stations. So with the feedback that council provided, which was to allow for more advanced polling station dates in Iroquois, we've made a change to our schedule. So it was included in the report. However, just for the public to know as well, advanced voting will start on Monday, October 19th. And it will go until Monday, October 26th, which is Election Day. We have two methods of voting. One is online, which can be done at the convenience of your home at any time of the day or night. But in the interest of for the people who like to come in and exercise their voting rights in person, we'll have a voter help center open at the municipal center here on the second floor, Monday to Friday, the 19th to the 23rd. We then will go to Williamsburg on Wednesday from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., where we'll have polling stations open there, both electronic and ballot voting. Thursday, we'll be in Princeton at Matilda Hall from 4 to 8 p.m. Then we go to Iroquois for Friday evening, 4 to 8, and a full day on Saturday. Typically, the advanced voting station in Iroquois is at the Civic Center. Unfortunately, it was already booked for a fundraiser, and we thought we could look at a different alternative location. So we're actually going to be holding our advanced polling stations at the 5 College Street, which is now the South Dundas Archives, and the hub, the wellness hub. So we have ample space there. It's accessible, internet access. So we'll be happy to host advanced polls in Iroquois there. And then on Sunday, where we're going to come back to the Municipal Center for a full day, 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. And then Election Day will be here as well. So this schedule is based off the feedback that I got from council, which I thought was very helpful. And I'm happy to answer any questions council may have on this, but looking for approval of this bylaw this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Clerk LeBrun. So not only voting online, but 52 hours available within the community before Election Day, and then 10 hours on Election Day. So over 60 hours of opportunity to vote in South Dundas, spread out throughout the community. So thank you for that. Thanks for the update. Questions or comments? Councillor Smith?
Yeah, it's, just a quick question. The voting at the Hartford is included in this same one as well?
I thank you, through you, Mayor Broad. Thank you, Councillor Smith, for bringing that up. Yes, we do have a day that we're going to be actually going to the Hartford to get the votes there as well. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Okay. I have a motion, let it resolve that the Council of Municipality of South Dundas adopt bylaw number 2618, being a bylaw to set dates, location, and hours of advanced polling methods in the 2026 municipal elections. Moved by Councillor Ward, seconded by Councillor Smith. All in favor? Carried. B, 2631, policy 335, social media policy. CEO DeHaan.
Thank you. Sorry, my stomach's rumbling. Yes, thank you. We spoke quite at length at our last council meeting, so I won't spend too much time talking about it. The feedback we received from council was support of the policy, but just council wanted to make sure that we had some clauses or some wording in there that recognized that social media wasn't the official way to contact us with respect to complaints or concerns that were being brought forward. I think the reality is, just for full transparency, that these types of issues are going to come through social media, but making sure it's clear in that policy that there is a formal process that people have to go through to get it recorded is a great piece of feedback for us. And that's not to say we're going to ignore stuff that does end up there, but rather try and push people towards the appropriate channels to be able to document, log that, and make sure that even from our perspective and being able to see how quickly we're responding and track our responses, we do want to make sure we're using the right tools to resolve those things. So other than that, I'll leave it with council and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, CEO Don. And I've had other communities reach out after we brought this to the table, interested in what we're doing. So that's good that there's interest on activities that we're leading in the counties and in the region on items like this. Well, thank you very much. Motion, let it resolve that the Council Municipality of South Dundas adopt bylaw number 2631, being a bylaw to adopt a social media policy. Number 335 be read and passed in open council, signed and sealed, and the policy shall come into force and take effect upon passing of this bylaw. Moved by Deputy Mayor St. Pierre, seconded by Councillor Ward. All in favor? Carried. Eight C, 2632, policy 36, clothing allowance. CEO Dahan.
Thank you. Again, we had a good discussion at our last meeting, so I won't spend too much time on it, but rather just to say feedback we received was really about the logoing of personally owned items. So we did update the policy a little bit to try and be consistent and recognize that feedback we received. And essentially how it's been modified is so we do have a cap on the allowance of clothing that does have the South Dundas logo. That's up to $100 annually. And how we revised the policy was to say if you're not at that cap yet, you can use what's the balance you have to put a logo onto your own personally owned items. And so that's just part of your reimbursement. And then also those staff members that are not covered under this policy, like your part-time staff and staff that might be outside of the departments that are covered by this policy, we do identify still, as we did in the previous version, that they can have 2 logos applied at the municipality's cost. And lastly, the idea that excuse me,
You can pay for
that
it.
people can get reimbursed. Thank you. That they can do it at their cost to get.
Yeah, they can do extra if they wish.
Correct. That's it. Thank you. I knew there's the last one. So thank you. I'll leave it with council.
Comments, questions? Seeing none, I have a motion, let it resolve that the Council Municipality of South Dundas adopt bylaw number 2632, being a bylaw to adopt a clothing allowance policy number 336, being read past open council, signed and sealed. And the policy shall come in effect upon passing of this bylaw. Moved by Councillor Smith, seconded by Councillor Ward. All in favor? Carried. Eight D, 2026-36, Clean Yards Bylaw, repeal and replace. CEO Dahan.
Thank you. I'll start with this one, and I'll throw it over to Andrew for any questions that might come from the enforcement side of this. But we recognized, I know there was concern within the community with respect to rodents in a yard, and when we looked from what we had available to us, the tools that staff had available to us, although I do think that staff did a great job trying to resolve the issue, we really just didn't have the tools within the existing bylaw to be able to do something, because often whenever faced with those types of issues, there's kind of 2 scenarios that I would say are commonly encountered by our bylaw enforcement officer. One being usually that's attracted to a yard that's actually in a state of, I'm going to call it disrepair, with garbage, refuse that's out. And so through like Clean Yards, we're able to have some action taken place to try and remove the cause of why the rodents are being attracted to that yard. And the second thing is really like a lot of that enforcement side of it is trying to support tenants in a property where you might have a landlord that's neglecting the property and there's rodents inside a facility. So we do have a lot of like good wording to be able to do that type of enforcement. So what's missing, which we encountered more recently within the community, is where someone is actively feeding an animal, or animals are trying to attract a different type of animal, but it's attracting undesirable rodents. And I think I speak for everybody at the council table, as well as staff and the community, actually, that this is not something we want in our community. So to that end, I really appreciate the work of Chase, who's not here this afternoon, and doing a lot of research to try and find, I'm going to call it best practices, some types of wording that we can incorporate into our bylaw so we have some better tools to be able to deal with this issue. So what's being proposed to council is a relatively, I'm going to call it straightforward approach in terms of how we're able to be a little more proactive with our enforcement on these types of issues. And to be able to achieve that, what we're doing is just technically it's a repeal and replace, but it's really an amendment to the existing Clean Yards bylaw. Think of it that way. It just repeal and replace makes it easier from an administrative side of things to keep track of what that bylaw looks like in its entirety, rather than pieces that have been added here, there, and everywhere. So it's just a little bit of, from our perspective, a cleaner way to do it. So if there's questions on enforcement, again, Andrew and his team are the best position to answer those, but I do hope that it's recognized that number one, we just didn't have the tools available to us, but now, with quick action, we're able to be able to do this, because this is really the first opportunity we've had at a staff level to be able to bring this to council and make sure that and have council support it, or expect support it, to be able to resolve this, in a little more of an enforcement, a stronger enforcement position.
Thank you, CEO DeHaan, and appreciate the members of the community that have reached out, had us to their residents, made phone calls, saw the situation, and this is unique from what our bylaw was, and recognizing that given our bylaws opportunities for more tools, whether it's a health concern in this case. So I support the changes that we're considering tonight, but I'll open it up for council's questions at this time. Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Broad. I really don't have a question. Well, actually, maybe I do have a question. Anticipating that we're going to pass this bylaw, and understanding it has taken about a week. I mean, we were at the resident's house, I think it was a week ago Monday, recognizing that there was an issue. I think we've been pretty quick here to get this to our table, so I appreciate that. But my question is, now we've got a bylaw, or hopefully we have a bylaw in place, how quick can we go in and try to get this resolved?
CBO Turner.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We will review and do a follow-up inspection, make sure there is still a violation, and therefore act upon it as quickly as possible with, basically, we'd have to find a subcontractor for termination or cleanup in this particular case.
Follow-up.
Deputy?
Okay, and I understand, as a councillor, I do not have authority to tell staff or how to do or when to do their job, but I think this needs to be dealt with real quick. So I'd appreciate if that can be done. That would be great. I think appreciated from the neighbors that have to deal with this. Thanks.
Other comments? Councillor Smith?
Yeah, through Mayor Broad. So I just wanted to ask a question. So in the term of infestation, would a nesting rodent, would there also be something in there as well that would include, say, like raccoons or skunks? Would that also be included in that, or should that be added as well, or could that be added as well?
Right now, it is it's narrow to rodents.
Councillor Smith?
So just as a follow-up for that, is that something that should be entertained to be in there as well, or would that be deemed necessary?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, and I guess, I'll look to Andrew if he would disagree with this, but I don't know if we can always anticipate everything that we might encounter. I'm comfortable with the wording as it is, and I think that it's something that if we need to revisit it, we can revisit it, because I think we can demonstrate that we can take quick action, because maybe one day the raccoon situation that we're dealing with somewhere else is, it's still not quite covered under the way we need to deal with something. It's like I can regale you with my own raccoon infestation story from this spring at my house.
Yeah. Job one is the rodent issue, so, yep, and if we have other concerns, we can always come back, for sure. Thank you. Okay. I have a motion. Let it resolve that the Council of Municipality of South Dundas approve bylaw number 2633, being a bylaw to repeal and replace 2025-79 clean yards, be read and passed, signed and sealed in open council. Moved by Deputy Mayor St. Pierre, seconded by Councillor Vino. All in favor? Carried. Very good. 8E, 2026-25, 2026, South Dundas final tax rates. Treasurer Stewart. We will move to Deputy Treasurer Mason, since Julie is not sitting on her chair right there.
Thank you, Your Worship. With Council having passed the operating and capital budgets on January 21st, 2026, and County Council having passed the tax ratios on January 26, 2026, the last step staff need to calculate and send the 2026 final notices is approval of the 2026 tax rates. The attached bylaw approves the tax rates and will allow staff to proceed to the final tax billing for 2026. I'll attempt to address any questions council may have.
Questions, comments? I have a motion, let it be resolved that the Council of Municipality of South Dundas adopt bylaw number 2026-25, being a bylaw to establish the 2026 municipal tax rates for the corporation of the Municipality of South Dundas, be read first, second, third times, passed, signed, and sealed. Moved by Councillor Ward, seconded by Councillor Smith. All in favor? Carried. Eight F, 2026-33, 2026 water connection fee, Deputy Treasurer Mason.
Thank you, Your Worship. Council approved the 2026 water rates and wastewater connection fees on December 10th, 2025. This bylaw to amend the 2026 water connection fees from $5,000 to $6,150 should have been presented at the same time, but was missed by finance, namely myself. Approval of this bylaw brings the connection fees in line with what was discussed at budget time.
Thank you for taking responsibility, Deputy Treasurer. I have a motion. Let it be resolved that the Municipality of South Dundas adopt a bylaw number 2026-33, being a bylaw to amend Schedule B of the bylaw number 2007-57, be read first and second, third time, signed, sealed, and that bylaw number 2021-61 be rescinded in its entirety. Moved by Councillor Ward, seconded by Councillor Vino. All in favor? Carried. Staying with Deputy Treasurer Mason. G, 2026 Princeton Municipal Drain.
Thank you, Your Worship. Following are 7 bylaws authorizing staff to assess costs to landowners for municipal drain maintenance. The 2024 provincial grant was received March 30th for the Princeton, Fred Link, G.D. Baldwin, and William Connor drains. For the other 3 drains, Duncan, Foster, and Westervelt, the Agricultural Drainage Infrastructure Program, or ADIP grant, application will be filed by the end of day tomorrow. If there happens to be any reduction in the approved amount on the application, an additional billing may be necessary, as we'll be sending out bills before we receive approval. Staff will be implementing a more efficient and effective method for billing out the drainage assessments. The assessment amount will be posted on the final tax notice as a local improvement rather than issuing physical invoices. The tax notice option will reduce postage costs and administrative time for both billing and collection, provide property owners with more flexible payment options, and will provide cost recovery of all assessments, will provide full cost recovery of all assessments, not just amounts above $10, as with the previous practice. To replace the information previously provided with physical invoices, staff will be posting an information package for each drain on the website and provide email copies for those property owners who request it. With your leave, Your Worship, I won't make the same comments for every bylaw, but will stand by for questions if council may have any.
Thank you, Deputy Treasurer. Okay, so first one is Princeton Municipal Drain. Let it resolve that the Council of Municipality of South Dundas adopt bylaw number 26, bylaw to assess maintenance costs of the Princeton Municipal Drain, be read and passed, sealed. Any questions or comments on that? Okay, seeing none, so Councillor Ward, get Black here, and seconded by Councillor Vino. All in favor? Carried. So, same comments for Duncan Municipal Drain. Okay, motion, let it resolve that the Municipality of South Dundas adopt bylaw number 2026-27, being a bylaw to assess the maintenance cost of the Duncan Municipal Drain, be read and passed, open, signed, and sealed. Moved by Councillor Ward, seconded by Councillor Smith. All in favor? Carried. Next item, the Foster Municipal Drain. I have a motion, let it resolve that the Council of Municipality of South Dundas adopt the bylaw number 2026, being a bylaw to assess the maintenance cost of the Foster Municipal Drain, be read, passed, open, council, signed, and sealed. Moved by Councillor Ward, seconded by Councillor Vino. All in favor? Carried. And the Fred Link Municipal Drain. I have a motion, let it resolve that the Council of Municipality of South Dundas adopt bylaw number 2026-29, being a bylaw to assess the maintenance cost of the Fred Link Municipal Drain, be read, passed, open, sealed, and signed. Moved by Councillor Ward, seconded by Councillor Vino, and I reversed those 2 words. and the G.D. Baldwin Municipal Drain. Oh, all in favor? Carried. Thank you, Tom. Okay. The Baldwin Drain. No questions. Okay. Let it be resolved that the municipality of South Dundas adopt the bylaw number 2026-30, being a bylaw to assess the municipal cost of the G.D. Baldwin Municipal Drain, be read, passed, in open council, signed, and sealed. Moved by Councillor Vino, seconded by Councillor Ward. All in favor? Carried. And the Westervelt Municipal Drain. A motion, let it be resolved that the Council of Municipality of South Dundas adopt bylaw number 2634, being a bylaw to assess maintenance costs of the Westervelt Municipal Drain, be read, passed, and open council, signed, and sealed. Moved by Councillor Vino, seconded by Councillor Ward. All in favor? Carried. And the W. Connor Municipal Drain. You get to know who the early residents of South Dundas were by their names. Let it resolve that the Council of Municipality of South Dundas adopt bylaw number 2026-35, being a bylaw to assess the maintenance costs of the W. Connor Municipal Drain, be read, passed, open council, signed, and sealed. Moved by Councillor Vino, seconded by Councillor Ward. All in favor? Carried. So that takes care of bylaws 8F through 8I and M. So we are now at boards and committees. Okay. South Nation Board of Directors meeting, Councillor Smith.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Broad. At the most recent meeting, we discussed the Alto high-speed rail project that was going to be going through, potentially through Prescott, Russell, and Ottawa area. South Nation has chosen as a group not to put any comments forward on their, like officially, they feel it's just their job to provide comments on where, you know, the best route would be, where it should go or where it should not go, and just from an environmental standpoint. South Nation also has a new website that is up and operational currently. We already talked about the tree program here that we just approved. And a bulk of the talk at the meeting is still, of course, with like the transition that's taking forward with the new organization that's going to be formed. The official transition date going to be February 1st, 2027. And they've been told that every conservation authority is supposed to have their budgets ready early. So we're going to attempt to pass the 2027 budget in October of this year before our election.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Okay, SDG Library Board meeting. We were in Ingleside on April the 9th. Received our statistics and financial reports, which were all excellent. Annually, we look at our collection development policy, which is a policy that dictates what type of collections we keep in the library, which is very interesting to think about authors and types of reading and audiobooks, etc. We discussed our political elections policy, which is kind of strict when it comes to the libraries, and then just some other activities at the Chrysler branch, Williamstown branch, but nothing specific for South Dundas. Cemetery Advisory Committee, Councillor Smith.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Broad. So, April 13th, we had a cemetery meeting. Treasurer Stewart was with us that night, just gave us an update on how there's funds that are available from the Bereavement Authority of Ontario for the cemetery. So, and how those fees, or how that money is collected from the BAO, and how we get to use that basically for maintenance fees for various cemeteries. And also the bulk of the meeting was planning the upcoming cleanup day at the Dundas Cemetery. So that's going to be on Saturday, May the 2nd, correct? And it's rain or shine, Saturday, May the 2nd. So we'll pray for sunshine.
Very good. Not too nice if people come, right? Just in between. Yes. Okay, excellent. Thanks, Councillor Smith. Environmental Advisory Committee, Councillor Ward.
So thank you, Mayor. So the Environmental Advisory Committee met on April 14th, and we discussed a variety of different things, actually. But top of the agenda is we are looking for staff to kind of gather some information about a tree canopy policy and how that could take shape in the future for South Dundas and what that would look like, and making sure it's fair to all parties. And then we also discussed our event that is happening on May 7th. So May 7th is the Rain Barrel Collection Day, 1 to 6 or 2 to 6, Crystal? 2 to 6 p.m. is when it's occurring. And it's occurring at the shop on Allison. That's what I thought. Okay, so the committee will be volunteering there, and if you purchased a rain barrel, then we will be happy to discuss what we're doing with you. So that's all.
Thank you, Councillor. SCG County Council meeting last Monday. Delegations were from the St. Lawrence River Institute, Jeff Riddle, and with the end of mortgage presentation from City of Cornwall, which does affect property owners in Williamsburg. So we'll continue conversations on that as those go forward. Also, we talked about the intake. So, I'll let Deputy Mayor. Yeah, we had one recipient, Sherry's a recipient of the Regional Incentive Program. So that's good. And at the county level, we have a new economic development person, Kathleen Rendick. Is her name? Capital. Approved roadside spraying. So this is when Councillor Smith would say, if you don't want your ditches sprayed next to your property, you put up signs. Yep. Center line markings continue to happen on all county roads. Yeah, it was a busy council meeting, but those are the highlights. Very good. And G, Iroquois Waterfront Committee.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Broad. There wasn't a lot that we discussed. It was kind of a recap of the meeting before. We were kind of in one of them influx seasons, right? Because flowers and bushes are just starting to pop up. One of the things we did do, though, is one of the members has reached out to the council at Akwesasne, because we are thinking about potentially putting a plaque up along the waterfront. So we just have some discussions of what that may look like. Thank you.
Very good. Okay, and there was an Iroquois Business Group meeting, I just realized, which we attended. Typical topics that they went through, but just one of interest that a couple of things. Applefest, they have secured the golden helmets for 4 p.m. on Applefest Day, and they've also invited the golden helmets to participate in their parade, which they haven't done in many years, so that's a great activity that's happening in Iroquois for Applefest, and just the regular events we discussed. Okay, any other board meetings or anything meetings? No. Okay, consent agenda. 10A, key information report, Q1 2026 variance reports for South Dundas. B, key information report, March 2026 building bylaw stats for South Dundas. C, key information report, Canada Day carriage rise route for South Dundas. And D, information South Dundas United FC road closure. That's for the soccer. F, resolution Township of Oro Medante, request provincial legislation amends health safety concerns. G, information Cunningham Swam 2025 Integrity Commissioner Services annual report. H, annual Township of Edwardsburg Cardinal notice of passing zoning bylaw 2140 Dundas Street Cardinal. I, information Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus budget. J, information Ontario Energy Board notice of hearing. K, information South Nation Conservation Authority year-end final statements. And L, information Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing. I have a motion. Let it resolve that the items under consent agenda, less item 10E, be received and filed for information purposes. Councillor Ward, seconded by Deputy Mayor St. Pierre. Carried. Okay. Key information report for direction of use of plaza fees. I'll turn it over to Deputy Mayor St. Pierre.
Okay. CAO Ben Hahn, do you want to give us a report?
Thank you, and I'll keep my comments relatively brief. We did have our public meetings, April 15th and 16th, well attended, really appreciated. I know I speak on behalf of staff, and I'll let council speak on behalf of council, but really appreciated the people that came out and spoke. It was very engaging discussions. I think we had some laughs, and we were able to have very productive discussions with the people that attended. What we're here today is just to come back to council. At a staff level, we're at a stage where we are prepared if council wants to continue to pursue based on the direction we have so far. We're just looking at, essentially, this is a check-in with council. We heard a lot of comments from the members of the public that attended. In this council agenda, we have the minutes from those meetings. We have the petition that's been provided. Behind the scenes right now, business owners have reached out to talk to us about how the calculations have been made, some questions, and we are essentially at a point where we can finalize everything and prepare a final package for council. Some of the things, just based on, as we've continued through this process, that we've at a staff level would be recommending for a change to the draft policy, is including a cutoff date. Just that way we do have an end time when we can accept information from businesses in terms of how their business numbers are being calculated. We just don't want to leave it open-ended for the simple reason that we do have to, because if you change one person's calculation, the change cascades to make up the difference through others, either positively or negatively. And one of the items that were brought up during the public meeting, and again, that's the value of having those discussions with those people, is that in the policy we identify 37 and 39 Back Street at Iroquois Plaza. They're included in the policy, but not included in that draft schedule. So we have to do a little bit more background research whether they should or shouldn't be included. But again, we haven't really taken the next step pending what council's direction is following those public meetings. So that's what we're here for, and look forward to hearing from council and taking it from there.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to have some stuff to say in a bit, but my kind of opening remarks is just want to go back and rehash a couple of the public meetings that we had. I thought there was a lot of good information that came forward. I thought the people that did speak gave some good information, pertinent information, and some things that from my perspective made me think a little bit more about how we should move forward. I thought both meetings, everybody was well respectful to us, to themselves, to staff. I think they all recognize that these aren't easy decisions that we need to make, this one or other decisions, which sometimes are popular and sometimes they're not popular. But from my perspective, again, I just want to say that regardless of what happens in the future, I think this council has been very aware that the decisions of today it does have an effect on the future, and it has effect on future residents, businesses. I think you could see us. I think we're still fairly young. Maybe I'm a tad older than my other two councillors here, but I'm still planning on being in South Dundas for a long time. I have kids. I better not say kids. We have kids that I believe is going to be in South Dundas for a long time. We have friends that are of our age that's going to be in South Dundas hopefully for a long time. So I think there's no doubt that we do recognize the importance of making a decision whether or not we continue down this road or not. So I just want to open up with that, but I will open up for comments or questions to council, and I think Councillor Ward would like to go first.
So thanks, Deputy Mayor. So I prepared some comments because I think there was a lot of feedback we got at the public information session. So I'd like to just kind of give my feedback to all the businesses. And again, to the Deputy Mayor's point, thank you for engaging with us. Thank you for being a part of the discussion. And to staff, thank you for being patient through the entire process. I'm going to go through kind of my comments, and then at the end, I'll kind of just weigh in on the topic that we're looking for a decision on tonight. So bear with me. So the last few months, we as council have used many tools that currently exist in our government toolbox to connect with businesses in the community about the plazas. Building a plan, releasing surveys, scheduling a variety of sessions, and gathering comments, feedback, and petitions. While this information is excellent, it also highlights a flaw. We have mistaken collection as conversation. The sessions and letters and feedback do a great job at telling us how people feel in isolation, but they do not help the community wrestle with the trade-offs, the costs, and the timing of the consequences that come with that decision. It will not show us why keeping the tax rate where it is while preserving every service, every asset, and accepting every new idea is no longer practical and has become a wish. Our financial future has been debated at the last 4 budget seasons. Standing out in bright colors on balance sheets and screaming with this wish list is the answer higher taxes, fewer services, degradation of assets, or just never doing anything new. This is what we as elected officials were elected to pay attention to. Making this community a beautiful and affordable place to live for the next council to inherit and continue doing the same thing. Ignoring items that come up to avoid difficult discussions, as the Deputy Mayor alluded to, is not fair for the next council, nor is it good governance. South Dundas is facing budget challenges. We have asked our staff to come up with solutions to make the balance sheet a little less daunting. Each year during budget time, everyone speaks about affordability of higher taxes. This was also actually brought up by a few businesses that spoke during the public information sessions. But on the other hand, these same individuals make requests from their own point of concern, not understanding their impacts to the whole. The mentality of my business, my neighbor, my street, my park, and my tax bill, while we and our staff have to govern for the whole community. Our businesses, our neighbors, our streets, our park, and our tax level. The dialogue we are trying to have at this table is not an us versus them discussion. We are trying to have real civic dialogue, a discussion that asks people and us as a council to explain competing obligations with enough honesty and transparency that people can see the full picture, rather than only the inconvenience closest to them. Dialogue or a proper conversation is not only about the public reconsidering their needs, it's also about us as council being willing to reconsider our plan. True productive dialogue with multiple minds in a room, similar to the public information sessions, often reveals blind spots, missed consequences, a better sequence, or a possibility that a plan should never have been created without the correct dialogue in the first place. A healthy community needs the public to be willing to understand the current outlook before demanding more or improved services. It also needs a council willing to explain transparently why it cannot continue to offer those things. It requires humility on all sides to say we cannot go back and rethink this and build something better, but it can allow pathways for either party to continue the dialogue. A community begins to mature when engagement stops being a ritual of self-expression, of personal bias, and becomes a discipline of shared understanding. South Dundas and its current taxpayers need to have conversations that are capable of inspiring change for the better. My perspective regarding the plazas is the following. Together, the plazas currently raise $98,079 per year in commercial taxes. That is distributed to the municipality. Together, the plaza's annual operating and capital budget combined totals $434,200. This amount roughly works out to 4.4% of the municipal 2026 budget, meaning that in 2026, 4.4% of every property's municipal tax bill is related to the plaza, including businesses paying commercial taxes outside of that plaza. For someone like me who pays about $4,300 a year in property taxes, that equates to about $90.81. This may be less or more per property in South Dundas, depending on their assessment. The question for me tonight, and I think is very similar to some of my colleagues, is this fair? Is it fair for other businesses that are not in the plaza? Is it fair for those struggling right now that can have to rely on the food bank because the prices in the grocery stores are too high? Is it fair that other community assets such as fire trucks, snow plows, the arena and community centers fall apart because we are paying for assets that benefit one group that creates a profit? Is it fair to those who wish to sit in these chairs in December to tell staff to go back to the drawing board and find savings without impacting service levels or assets? And more importantly, is it fair to our future children and community to saddle them with a continued and growing expense that will eventually become unaffordable in their lifetime? Just because something was done in the past does not mean it should not be re-examined and improved over time. If we are to move forward, I would like to see an action request come back to council with a level of service policy attached to it, wherein council is brought a document which is shared with all businesses and publicly available on the website that outlines the municipality's obligations and service levels to all businesses within the plaza and all of the respective costs. The total cost should then reflect the amount of the money from the tax rate that is being proposed to offset the plaza's operations. As part of that policy in the future, when businesses or others ask for an increase in level of service or a reinvestment of capital, this bylaw with the attached policy would come back to council with a financial review to the impact to the general tax rate. And the council of that date can determine if it wishes to continue to accommodate and subsidize this amount in the levy. What is important is that we completed this exercise and now know that 4.4% of our total budget goes to this asset. We know that the percentage of the current tax levy is required for maintaining the services and improving them. If service requests and capital requests increase in the future, the councils can then use this document to determine their next steps without going through all the background and numbers that we did during our session. That's all.
Thank you. I'm not sure, I appreciate your comments, Counselor. I'm certainly not going to debate, because I don't think that's what the purpose is us debating our own comments. Counselor, do you have any comments that you want to address to Counselor Ward, or do you have your own comments that you would like to express?
That's a tough act to follow. I did prepare something this afternoon. It was around 2 p.m. I had all these ideas going through my head of what I was going to say, and I said I should try and organize something here, else I'm just going to be all over the place. So you guys know me, I'm kind of like the idea fairy. And so some of it's going to be, I guess some of it we'll say is going to be prepared, and some of it I'm going to offer out a little bit here. I know that the individual plaza businesses are similar to units in a condo, which is during the condo model, you could certainly expect that you were going to be paying maintenance fees. That's inevitable. However, I also recognize that the current state of the economy right now, along with the affordability crisis that we are currently in, I recognize that, and I see that this has affected many of the plaza businesses. I'm thinking back to how many businesses closed during COVID or almost closed. And although we still have some vacancies in our plazas, we have cut a lot of ribbons on new stores in the last 3 years. And these are the stores that I'm thinking about most right now if we impose these new fees. Looking forward into the future, it certainly looks like we're going to see major growth in Iroquois, with potentially doubling of the population there or more, maybe within the next 10 years or so. The possibility is there that we could see 1,000+ new front doors. And I have a feeling that a lot of the people that are going to be attracted to that village, because of the mix of bigger businesses, the service businesses, and the smaller mom and pop shops that plaza has to offer. Just looking forward into the future, I just think that I really don't want that mix of the small local businesses and the larger chain businesses, if you want to call them, or professional services. I'd like the mix to stay, it's pretty close to 50-50 in both plazas right now. And I was under the impression that bigger businesses were in Morrisburg, professional services. Iroquois was mostly mom and pop shops. But then I started just going through the whole list of what is where. And I was actually surprised myself that both plazas are almost 50-50 is what you would call bigger businesses and then small entrepreneurs. And I like that mix. And it's the small entrepreneurs, the small family-run businesses are the ones that I'm thinking about right now. And I know that the staff has put a lot of time into this exercise so far, and I just think that with the economy right now, that maybe this needs to just be put on the shelf for a few years, and then if we start to see some major growth happen in Iroquois, new people come in, things start to boom, maybe it could be revisited later.
Okay, Councillor, certainly appreciate your comments as well. I, like you, jotted down some notes and stuff, so I'll try my best to stay on track. So I'm probably going to recap a couple things here, but I can't disagree with both of you. I mean, I don't think there's, honest to God, I don't think there's a right and I don't think there's a wrong here. What you say about the financials is dollars and cents. And it's factual. I believe it's factual is what you're saying. You can't argue that. I don't think we can argue the fact of what you're saying, Counselor, as well. So this is where I'm coming from. So if you can just bear with me a little bit. So as we all know, we went through this process, and it was a process that started out, as I said in the public meetings, we started with the asset management plan, making sure that the report and the plan was updated and proper. There was a request to look at the plazas and plaza user fees. And collectively, we said, yes, let's look at that. I think we had 3 or 4 meetings where it started off with a pretty large report that told us a story of everything that's involved with the plazas in terms of cost, maintenance, time spent, and that painted a picture. And we continued the discussions. At no given time during the 3 or 4 meetings did we say, let's stop the process, because as I said, the public meeting, I think it's good governance that when you start something, you should at least finish it and get it to a period where you need to make a final decision. We did that with the development charges. And we could probably still sit here and debate whether or not development charges should be implemented or not. But, you know, we brought it to an end. There was considerable staff time taken to pull together these reports. But again, I don't think it's a waste of time for us to do this exercise. So during the process, we got some emails from people that were in favor. I honestly did not receive a single email to say people were, and when I say in favor, I mean in favor of status quo, not in favor of moving forward. So in favor of status quo. I did not receive any emails to say we should continue and impose a levy to the businesses. We had 2 public meetings, which it was quite clear in the 2 public meetings that the presenters, and yes, there was quite a few, as a percentage-wise, higher business owners that came and presented to us, but there were a handful of just general residents, tax-paying residents that came forward and gave their opinion. On the petition, I mean, you know, I looked at the petition, I did scroll through it. I did notice that there was, and I think it was noted in an email from Clerk LeBrun earlier, that there was multiple signatures, same signatures on that report. But, you know, over 900 people did sign it, but even reducing by the multiple signatures and maybe reducing some of the ones that were out of town, it still told me that there was a significant amount of people that voiced their opinion that were okay with the status quo and okay with continuing funding the plaza as part of their tax rate. Which I think if we broke it down was, and correct me if I'm wrong, probably about $30 a household plus business that is funding the plazas. But a couple things during the public meeting that kind of struck me was, and maybe it's not quite directly to the levy, but you know, somebody came up and said about cleanup of the plaza and the level of the service with the plaza, which I kind of didn't react at that time, but I just wanted to remind people that we have community cleanup days where a lot of our community groups will take their time, their weekends, and help the municipality clean the garbage along the ditches, along our waterfronts, along local roads. They take their time to do that. And I do believe the plazas need to do that as well. I don't think it's staff is at, a certain beck and call, and when there's a garbage to be picked up, that immediately they get called and told they need to pick up the garbage. We are a community as a whole, and everybody should pitch in to keep our community clean. We have waterfront committees that go out and plant flower beds and do the weeding, and we have individuals that will go to our plazas and try to plant flowers and do weeding, and they're the same ones that we see over and over again. So I want to say thank you to them, but I also want to say to the business owners, I think you do have a responsibility to help us and help you with the cleanup of garbage within the malls. I want to talk a little bit about this agreement this so-called agreement that nobody seems to know where it is. You know, years ago, obviously, we lost our waterfront. Obviously, there was some agreement, whether it's verbal, whether it's a handshake deal, whether it's on paper. We can't find that agreement. I believe we've tried our best. I believe we've reached out to the people we needed to reach out to do a search on this agreement. There's no such agreement right now that exists. I mean, there's one or two people in town that keep saying there's an agreement, there's an agreement. Well, then produce the agreement so then we have it. Because right now, there is no agreement. You know, so, you know, help us. If you want us to help you, help us get that agreement because we can't find it. Maybe unfairly, we did ask Mr. Horner if he knew anything about the agreement, and I don't know if he's one of the individuals we officially asked or not, but, you know, as far as we understand, there is no formal agreement, or if it is, it's buried in somebody's safe somewhere that nobody can find it. One of the things that a gentleman said to me in Iroquois, which kind of struck me as well, was if we were to add additional costs to the businesses, who ultimately is going to be paying for that? Well, the consumer's going to ultimately pay for that. For some businesses, they can absorb it. I know they can absorb it because they're big business. But for some of the smaller businesses, they probably can't absorb it. So your cost is going to go up if you go to that store and buy their things, use their product, use their service. So if their cost goes up, are people going to continue going to their store, or they're going to go somewhere else? So it kind of resonated with me a little bit. The other thing that resonated with me was our bigger box stores, you know, and I don't disagree with a comment that somebody made, you know, regarding our banks. We know that our banks have been closing down around us. If we implement a levy and a significant levy, two things may happen. The banks are going to pay for it and they're not going to care. Or they're just not going to pay for it and go away. And is that a risk I'm willing to take? Probably not, because I think a bank is even though a lot of stuff is online, it's still I go to the bank and there's always people there in the lineup that needs assistance. So, you know, and I think about the LCBOs now. I mean, right now, the provincial government, with their imposing of no American product, has limited their supply, which I'm sure is having a financial impact. I don't know for sure, but I'm sure it's having a financial impact to them. And now we're going to propose a levy, which is not going to help their situation. So again, are they at a point? I don't know the answer, but are they at a point that they're going to go, if I'm going to get a $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 levy, why should I bother being here in Mooresburg and Iroquois? So these are the questions that it just keeps resonating with me, and I keep thinking over and over and over if it's the right thing to continue. I do agree with Councillor Smith a little bit. You know, I question the timing here a little bit. You know, I travel every day. Everybody travels at $1.70, $1.72. A liter of gas is not cheap right now. And again, that needs to be recouped from the businesses, and who's paying for that is, again, the consumer's going to pay for that. So I just think there's some economic pressures. I think this is a time that we really should be rallying around our businesses and not trying to recoup extra cost. And if we really want to get down to it, I mean, if you look at all of the infrastructure we have, we don't recoup 100% of our costs most of the times anyways, right? I mean, we've got a landfill, we don't recoup 100% of the cost. We got an arena, we don't recoup 100% of the cost. We don't jack up the fees to try to recoup 100% of the cost. So again, I'm just not sure it's the right thing to do at this time. And when I think about, you know, and I don't want to get in a debate about rural and urban, but you know, for the last 2 terms, except for this year, and I will say 2 terms ago, when I usually don't put an I in front of my sentence, but when I was on council, we pushed to get our village streets paved. We've been doing rural streets for the last 4, 5, 6 councils, you know, so they've been getting, I mean, not they, but our rural streets have been getting upgraded, and our village streets haven't been. The tax rates are different. If you're in agriculture, you pay 25% of, and unfortunately, the provincial government doesn't make us whole anymore, right? So everybody is pitching in to pay for the infrastructure throughout South Dundas. It's not just one resident or one business or agriculture. Everybody's paying for it. Overwhelmingly, everybody has said, for the people that have spoken, and I know it's, if you do the math, it's probably 800 people, 850 people. Honest to God, 5 people has come up to me verbally and said they think it's a great idea to impose a levy. 5 people. We gave everybody ample opportunity. Everybody knows how they can get a hold of us. They've got our emails. We had 2 public open houses, and overwhelmingly, they've said they do not mind paying the $20, $30 on their tax to cover the cost for the malls. So with that, I'm really going to listen to the people that have spoken. It's unfortunate if there was a lot more people that were that wanted to impose a levy, but they just didn't come out. They didn't speak. So I can't manufacture a story that it's not fair to other businesses that they're not paying for their removal of garbage or removal of snow, and we're paying for our malls. The other businesses have not spoken. So I got to take that they are okay with it. They're okay with the status quo. So anyways, with that was a little bit elongated, a little bit longer than it should have been maybe, but I'm kind of in favor that we brought it to a certain point, and I am comfortable at this point to not move forward with it. Yeah, absolutely, Councillor.
So to just to recap though, just wondering, there's no appetite to even register the work. I'm not talking about the fees. The work that staff has done, there's no interest to entertain a policy about level of service, to your point. Like letting everyone know in the plaza what the level of service that the municipality is to offer to those businesses, and then outline that so that there isn't that thought that at the drop of a hat we're to be at their beck and call.
Yeah, yes, I agree with you that we should be doing that for sure. I think that at the very least we should be doing that.
And you're okay with that
So
as
there is a full understanding of what is expected and not expected. And I guess that goes with my my little saying about community cleanup, and yeah, so I'm okay with that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, go ahead, CAO.
Well, thank you to Councillor Ward, because I was actually going to recommend the same, that I think that was a fantastic idea, that from a fee perspective, that we feel status quo is acceptable at this point in time. That's great. But I think just at a staff level, we do support that idea of that policy, just because it does provide a little bit of ammunition for us whenever requests come in. And I'm confident that our staff make every effort to do the best they can out there. There's no doubt they care about the work that they do and what they try and do, but we do have to make sure we're working within a box that is a cost-contained box. And one thing I do want to say to everybody here and to those that might be listening and maybe in the paper at some point is, from staff's perspective, this was a good exercise to go through, regardless of where we ended up, and I'm glad we did it. And I think from our side of things, it was a great exercise, great to get us to this point. I do not want the perception that this has been a waste of time, because that is not the case at all. This has been an excellent exercise, and if we get a level of service policy out of it that we can use, that's fantastic for us. So absolutely.
Okay, just want to close. Say, are you done?
Can I ask something else?
Okay, one more. The hockey game's on, dude.
Okay, then never mind. We're good.
Take your time. I'm joking.
No,
Take your time.
Would there be? I know, one of the challenges we have is because they're dedicated streets within the plazas. If we're happy with status quo, would there be an interest in actually formally closing those as streets? I don't know legally how we can do it from an addressing perspective, but just to remove some of the minimum maintenance standards liability that we have associated with it. is it something that it's okay if we like investigate? I'm not suggesting we're coming back at the next meeting and doing that. I don't even know if it's feasible from an addressing perspective, but
Does that have any, would that have any impact on our water, wastewater, and how operations and billing happens? Because it's on the main, like it's under a road, it's a common shared service?
I think it's because it's our property. Like, we don't need an easement. We don't, like, it's our property, like a water main running through a park. We don't, like, we kind of control it.
Okay, yeah, okay, so, and I think I tried to ask this question before, so if there was a water main break, like, right here on our property, is that the municipality's sole bill, or would that be distributed to the users?
Yeah, so to Deputy Mayor's point, so I'll be honest, I'll use the arena as an example. It's no secret, 2 years ago, we had some sewer issues there. So the facilities budget carries similar to a homeowner. So the municipality at this facility is responsible to the property line of this facility. And then where similar to your house, well, maybe not your house, somebody's house in town, when it transfers over to the municipality's transferred, that's the same representation at these facilities.
Okay, so then, going back to the mall, if it's one property and we take out the road, then does our stub stop at the property line then, and then it would be all of our cost if there's a maintenance?
And I'm not going to give the perfect answer without Manager Villeneuve here, but there is some curb stop wording in there as well, but we can look at our bylaws and just double check some of the wording there.
Yeah, I'm just going back to your suggestion, that's all. So I think it's worth looking at.
No,
'cause I
and
think
yeah,
it needs
to-
to be a common shared cost, just like it is today.
Yeah, and to the CAO's point, like, and, you know, we're going to bring back this level of service document. This is something that we can wrap into the levels of service that we provide. So, you know, if there's other things that we want to change within the levels of service, this is going to be the final opportunity to sort of have that discussion with council as well.
Okay, perfect. Anything else? Okay, yep, go ahead.
Yeah, so just to play devil's advocate here, what would, by unnaming those official streets, what is that going to accomplish? Or what are we hoping to accomplish? I'm assuming savings of dollars, but how or why? Or well, I know why, but I mean, how?
Yeah, so because they're roadways, we do have to patrol them. We have to have traffic counting done on them. And if there is a accident or something on those roadways, there's different things that lawyers can point to and how we've been negligent in the work we're doing. So if we actually think of it as more of a facility rather than a roadway, I think then there's a little bit less, I'm going to say, documentation, which sometimes is, you don't want less documentation. It sounds like we're trying to be shady, but that's not the case at all. It's just, it shifts the burden more to like a facilities type of management of a facilities parking lot rather than a roadway.
Because I was just thinking, like, in terms of like level of service, like minimum maintenance standards and stuff for a road, we would still be more or less maintaining the same level of service. So it's not a level of service issue. It would be, okay, I'm just trying to figure out what the why.
You're 100% correct.
Yeah,
It's more
okay.
the documentation liability side of it, but it's not, I don't foresee that it actually changes how we're dealing with snow, how we're salting it, how we're dealing with the sidewalks. Like, that's a service standard that would be addressed in our level of service document. It's just more, now transportation doesn't have to worry about patrolling that roadway and checking reflectivity on a stop sign and those kinds of things.
I'm thinking of the addressing, how, like, we're gonna have to check into that, like how, that's gonna, yeah.
Yeah, fair point.
Yeah.
Fair point, yeah, fair point. Okay, if there's nothing else, I guess I just want to close and just thank both my counselors here that, again, I think you said it, being patient through the process and just getting to where we are today, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor St. Pierre, Councillor Smith, and Councillor Ward for your work on the Plaza levy discussions in the absence of Councilor Vino and myself. Thank you for that. Okay. Discussion item 11B, key information report, ATV bylaw. CEO DeHaan.
Thank you. At our last meeting, we had Mr. Baker speak to the ATV bylaw that South Dundas has in place right now and desired to see a little bit more openness in terms of what ATVs could and couldn't use for municipal roadways. One of the suggestions was either, I can't remember if he used the term gold standard, but would be to repeal the ATV bylaw altogether, which is similar to what some other communities have done, and then alternatively looking at maybe a looser bylaw rather than the current one. Just to remind council, right now the bylaw does say that except for certain roadways, south of the 401, there is no ATV use on local roadways within South Dundas. What I do want to point out to council is that getting south of the 401, you actually need to rely very greatly on the United Counties of SD&G to be supportive of some loosening of their restrictions as well. So the first step, and Mr. Baker identified that, was to start with South Dundas locally and then start working on SDG as a next steps, and hopefully be able to get people into the restaurants, businesses, and hotel, accommodations that we have here in South Dundas that are south of the 401. So from staff's perspective, just looking for council's direction on it. The easiest answer is actually a repeal of the bylaw, if I'm being frank with council. But it would mean that there is a likely increase on roads like Lakeshore, because the east-west opportunity is challenging whenever you're traveling between Iroquois and Morrisburg. And if you're trying to get south of the 401 and into town, we may see some impacts on roads like that, which will end up being more of a collector road into the communities of Morrisburg and Iroquois.
Thank you, CEO DeHaan. Questions, comments? Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Broad. Yeah, no, I think we should just monitor it. I mean, I think I know somebody who lives on Lakeshore Drive, and if we're noticing a highly increased level of vehicles going through, I mean, listen, if they're not impacting anybody, what's the big deal? I mean, there's other vehicles and other types of vehicles we see on our streets now anyways. So, I just think we just monitor it and see how it goes. And if we have to change it, then we adjust.
Councilor Vino.
Yep, through your mayor. Yeah, so I'm in favor of repealing it. I'm obviously the president of our snowmobile club, and we do the same thing as the ATVs do, and we're across the OFSC, the Ontario Federation. We're not bound by any bylaws like this across the lands. So I would be in favor of that. I agree we should monitor it, and just for the public's knowledge, anybody who's using the roads similar to snowmobiles, because I asked this question before, they have to have their permit, which also means they have to have insurance, license, everything, and then they're bound by the Motor Vehicle Act of Ontario also. So the police have the same authority over them as they do any vehicle. So if they're breaking the law, if they're drinking and driving, if they're doing anything like that, it's the same as a road vehicle. It's actually a little bit more, it's a little stronger than even I think farm tractors and whatnot. So I'm in favor of repealing it for those reasons.
Other questions, comments? Councilor Smith?
Yeah, so I think I said at the last meeting that I was leaning towards just like a modified version of it, that to just allow simply to get to gas stations, hotels, restaurants, stuff like that. But just looking at it again, it's going to be a lot of enforcement effort. It's going to be a lot of work to try and figure out exactly how we're going to get there. And so I'm just going to agree, I guess, just repeal it and we'll monitor it. And then if we have to come back and modify it after the fact, we'll come back and modify it after the fact.
Thanks, Councilor. Councilor Ward?
I just had one question through you, Mayor, to maybe the CAO. Right now, if someone, which I've seen, comes south of the 401 on an ATV, who stops them from doing that?
Theoretically, or
in reality, who
yeah,
stops them from
in reality, the OPP should be the ones enforcing that, and I can totally appreciate that. That's probably not a priority or a thought, And they the officers have to be aware of the fact that there is a bylaw in place and deal with it that way. And I, with greatest of respect for officers, I could appreciate that they may not be aware, and it's again not a priority for them.
Yeah, so through that, your mayor, I support Councilor Vino and the deputy mayor and Councilor Smith as well. I think a full repeal is fine because impractical, like we can't enforce it anyways at this point, so.
Very good, thank you. And I'm also interested, and I brought it up with David that night about, and I talked to some enthusiasts over the last week, since our last meeting, about the possibility of trails too developing within South Dundas, so they don't have to use the roads, so they don't want to use the roads either. So that'll be an interesting point of any trails that might develop, and that's a good use as well. So, okay, so I think CEO Dahan has direction on that key information report. Moving to C, key information report, the new Alcohol and Gaming Commission, bring your own BYO event permit. So Director Jansen.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So this was a program that was run out about 6 to 8 weeks ago here by the province as an opportunity, I think, from the provincial perspective. They're trying to grow some tourism at community events. That's the main focus and the reason why the province is bringing this down. So despite some of the headlines that you may have read or people getting excited, this isn't free-for-all, open at all parks. So it's an expansion of the tailgating rules that already existed. So they're taking tailgating, which was highly specific, and they're expanding that to include culturally significant events as designated by the municipality. So we're in the full driver's seat of if somebody wanted to get this permit, they have to come to the municipality to have their event declared by resolution a culturally significant event. If not, they're going to make their application to the Alcohol and Gaming Association, and they're going to say, where's your resolution? So that's the stopgap in between there for municipalities to have a little bit of control on what's going on here. So the report today is really not looking to make the final decision here. I'm just trying to get some information from council on like long-term goals and how council sees this moving forward. I have started some discussions and mostly I think at the SDNG, like in the rec directors group, we're just trying to keep the messaging between municipalities the same. So councils aren't getting mixed information. So we have already met, I've shared a lot of the insurance information that I've collected here with all the other directors. So we're just trying to be consistent there. Obviously each council is going to make their own, even in our group, it's like, well, in this park, it's this situation. So every council is going to be making their own decision, but we just want to make sure that the information we're presenting and the procedures we're putting together is all in the same direction. I do want to note that it doesn't change anything from our current bylaw. So any events that we already have, anything that's already happening can continue to happen as they are. I did give you guys a little section on sort of the administrative requirements. So obviously either council or staff would have to authorize the culturally significant event. We do have to update our municipal alcohol policy if we wanted to go through with this. And that's where we'd put some of the verbiage towards rules and restrictions and stuff like that moving forward. I did reach out to our insurance provider. The tone I kind of got from them, I don't want to put words in their mouth, but a lot of people were caught a little bit off guard by this. So the insurance providers are still working their way through some of the logistics themselves. But I did include all the information that we got from them, which I think was, a lot of it's very common sense risk mitigation from them. So on precedent, I know many councils are having the exact same discussion that we're going to have here tonight. I see some passing, and I know I put Perth in here as an example of one that didn't put through, and I'll be honest, my news feed might be a little biased in the way it goes. I get a lot of municipal parks news, so I've seen some Kingston and some Collingwood, some other councils who have also gone away from this. Either they just didn't see it applying to their communities, they saw the administrative and the risk burden not fitting for what they envisioned for the events in their municipality. So from there, I kind of just wanted to get a little bit of direction from council. Either option A, we sort of just stay with the status quo. Ultimately, I'm going through my head thinking of all the community events that we have and like who would go through this effort. You have the 2Bs, like they aren't going to switch to a bring your own. That's like a lot of events that are willing to take the effort to go towards alcohol, do it as a fundraiser, basically. Like they fund their event via that. The events that don't do alcohol are focusing more on family and like trying to keep that event in that discretion. So I can't jump out and I didn't go out and poll everybody ahead of time. I kind of wanted to get some direction from council before we move forward with that next step. So one option for council is we could just leave it status quo. And ultimately that doesn't mean that we're saying no forever. It just means that, we're not going to go through the administrative side of updating our policies and stuff like that if, it's not really going to fit the vision of what we see as at our community events. Option B is that we can look into revising the policy. So I think I kind of hinted to it. I'd like to consult a lot of the groups that do work here, because ultimately I think if we get a round of no's, I might still come back to council and say maybe option A is what we should be going with, but also get some feedback from them if we did implement it. Like obviously we have some information from our insurance provider there of, some of the rules and restrictions, and I'll admit, like if I was an event organizer, it's not as easy as signing a piece of paper. It's actually, I'd argue, almost more work than hosting a controlled alcohol event than it is to host this uncontrolled alcohol event from an event organizer. And I know we had Canada Day here, we had the Lions Club, and these are volunteer groups, so I don't know if they're exactly rushing to sign up for even more work. But outside of that, just looking for a little bit of feedback from council as to, what direction they want to go with this new policy from the province.
Yeah, thanks, Director Jansen, and thanks for reacting right away to the headlines I read, and then obviously the details forthcoming that weren't exactly as the headlines that were written, which is fine, right? They're trying to navigate their way through this, and appreciate diving into it and seeing how it really affects us. My request when I brought it up, 4 or 5 weeks ago was we got to find out what this means, right? And that was the detail. And I think you've done a good job in finding out what it means. So I appreciate the work. Yeah, I'd like to know. I'd be interested to know if there are any users out there of such an event that would be interested in that, because we could go ahead and update the policy. But like you said, if there's really no interest at this time, we could just address it at a future. So it'd be interesting just over some time as the conversation comes up, and or when other communities maybe have some events, then our groups, and I'm not going to say any groups out loud, but any of our groups, like, oh, that might have worked well for us, and we can always address it then. So I think it's great to have the information, but keep investigating, and I'm kind of open to option A or B, or whatever, the council kind of is thinking at this point. So, Councilor Vino?
Yeah. Through you, Mayor. Yeah, I'm in favor of option A right now, except with, I'm fearful that if we kind of let it get too big, maybe we become the area that, hey, South Dundas, let's just do all these big events, and I don't want to go there yet. I kind of want to watch and see what the other municipalities that do adopt this type of legislation, or do adopt this, how those events go and whatnot, and then in the same time, reach out to our local, volunteer groups and event groups and whatnot, and do some information gathering. But for now, I think it's not worth the exercise to go through all of the admin work, I guess, to update all these policies and whatnot. I think we're still in information gathering as far as that's where I'd like to be right now. So that's what I'm in favor of.
Very good. Other comments at this point? Councilor Smith?
Just a quick one is that I've never had anybody that come to me since this has been announced, like saying, we need this, and I just purely from liability, I think we maybe sit on this one for a while.
Yeah, of course.
Now if somebody comes to us, whatever, or the next council, whatever, saying that, we think this would be a great idea, well, then maybe it can get revisited then, but that's just shelf it for.
Yeah. You guys agree?
Yeah, through you, Mayor Broad. I agree. I think we're still in the fact-finding mission. I suspect nobody's asked Councillor because it's been cold and nobody's actually went to the park looking to have a beer. But yeah, I think we just keep fact-finding. Let's reach out to our community groups, and because I was thinking, the amphitheater's going to start having music, and wouldn't it be nice that you could bring your own couple beer and just sit there and have a beer, right? And I think that was the intent. Was just for something like that going on, I could, or you, or anybody else could just bring a glass of wine or a bottle of wine with whomever and enjoy music and sit there and drink without any, major regulations. It was just, that's what it was. And I think that's what kind of was the intent, and it just kind of snowballed that it's a little bit bigger, but I'm okay with the fact finding now.
Dr. Jansen?
Yeah, so the only comment I have to that is 100% that was the province's goal with rolling this out. I'd say the biggest hurdle that I think a lot of municipalities have, and Councillor Smith brought up, is kind of the liability. Like ultimately owners, like whoever's hosting that event is still responsible for all those individuals. The insurance company, we declare it a culturally significant event. We start putting our fingers in the pot, our insurance also gets in the pot, right? So.
Okay. Councillor Ward, comments?
Thanks, Mayor. So through you, Mayor, to Director Jansen, thank you for finally explaining this to me, because I was quite puzzled for some time, and this was a good synopsis, so now I actually understand what's going on. And number two, I think sitting on a committee that has kind of been going back and forth about, implementing alcohol at an event, it's very expensive for us to have regular insurance for a community event. When you add alcohol, it's even more expensive, and I'm sure, as many of you know up here, you have to fundraise for that to buy that insurance. So to that point, I think we'll just stick with option A, see what everyone else is doing, and then if somebody really wants to do it, we can explore it at that time.
Sounds good. So continue fact finding, and we'll direct for option A at this time. Thank you, Director. Okay, 11D, key information report, spring property standards cleanup. CBO Andrew Turner, CEO Dahan.
Yeah, I'll take this. I was Director Turner was away whenever we were starting to put our agenda together. So with the help of his staff, we wanted to bring this forward for council, just as a heads up in terms of the good work that his crew is doing in terms of a spring property standards cleanup, and wanted to put it out into a public forum that it is something, a proactive approach that they're taking with some properties this year. I don't know if obviously we can't speak to specific properties, that would be completely inappropriate, but rather just to say, this is the time of year where there's that opportunity for his crew to get out there and deal with some of those issues, because a lot of the issues they deal with are complaint based, but that doesn't necessarily capture some of the challenging properties, because if the complaint never comes in, but yet it's still a problem, it should be addressed. So just again, really for information for the community to put it out there. Is there anything they should add to that?
Through you, Mayor Broad, and then council, the idea being visible stuff. We're not going to be climbing fences into people's backyards, but if we can drive down the road and it's flagrant, we have an issue and a violation, we're going to start touching base on a lot more of those.
Very good. And I assume we always start with education.
Certainly.
Certainly. Thank you for that. Very good. Okay. Any questions, comments? Thank you for that. Okay. So one further item, the Municipal Engineers Association, the comments to the Ontario Regulation Registry, CAO, Ben DeHaan.
Clerk LeBrun's actually going to take this one. No, I
see
joke
your
because
ring.
I think council is aware. I sit on the board of directors for the Municipal Engineers Association, and this is one that's really near and dear to our hearts right now. Very brief synopsis on what's going on with the province. They're introducing some legislation that is going to require municipalities to use standardized specifications for linear work. So right now they're called Ontario Provincial Standards. I would be willing to bet even private industry relies on that, because there's municipal standards, provincial standards. They are already harmonized. What's different is what the province is proposing to do is take away any ability to modify those specifications. That might sound like an interesting idea, but the reality is what will happen is losing the ability to adjust those specifications for local conditions. So concern for municipalities and for the MEA very much, because we think that it could lead to some really challenging issues within the construction industry. And we very much appreciate the idea of standardizing things, making things more efficient for contractors, for contracts. Absolutely want to see that. But the reality is there's not a lot of detail that's being provided right now, and some real concern that it'll take away local ability to make sure the specifications meet the local market. So things like maybe not, examples we've heard from colleagues is they take the asphalt specification, they actually change it a little bit so that they can use it under certain circumstances they're dealing with if they're doing skin patching, padding, things even locally here. We have always in this region used Marshall mix as our pavement specification. There's good reason for it. The province really likes the more modern, I'm going to say modern, it's not the modern type of mix, but a different type of mix to use rather than Marshall mix. But there is some challenges with that if it's not specified correctly. So, things of that nature that we're really concerned with. So we want to make sure it's in front of various councils, and we're going to continue to work with the province to try and make sure whatever changes they're looking for fits municipalities, provides some level of flexibility, because that is the big concern. They're going to take away the flexibility, or create some bureaucracy around, if we want to have some flexibility, we have to go and ask for approval before we modify it. The other thing that it sounds like is that at the end of the year, we now have to report on what we're doing for specifications, so added layer of reporting. And this is purely Benjamin DeHaan's theory, but I'm guessing if you are reporting, you're not following the specifications, it's going to impact your funding for provincial funding dollars, which I can see why they would do that, but I'm not suggesting that's the right thing to do. So anyway, I appreciate the opportunity to speak on this.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, DeHaan. Very interesting when we had the conversation a few weeks ago about the pavement and how it's beneficial in SD&G, and you've been part of that program of that Marshall mix, right? Whereas in other regions it may not be so important, but it is important to us, and how this regulation could change that. So it's good to keep our eye on it and understand it. And when we're at conferences or talking with others, we know what's going on. I think it's definitely a good information piece. So thanks for sharing. Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, thank you, and through you, Mayor Broad. I agree, and I'm sure Councillor Ward, who's in the municipal world as well, and infrastructure, I mean, the climate is a big thing. I mean, the climate in Toronto is much different than the climate in Ottawa. That's different than climate in South Dundas. It's different to climate in Carleton Place, and so on and so forth. And I know we've been, working with the larger municipalities over my time with an engineering company. I know it's always been a struggle to find that proper specification, right? I mean, we talk about, I could talk about hours about it, but, iron ring adjustments, and a couple minutes, and using rubber rings versus, plastic rings versus, iron. I mean, it's an ongoing discussion. So I really, I'm a little hesitant that it fits all the needs for all municipalities across Ontario, and it does not. So unfortunately, I think it's one of these again, and I don't mean to throw too many stones at the provincial government. It's one of these, let's make a decision, but then oops, we'll figure it out later, so thank you.
Thanks, Deputy. Councillor Ward.
I just wanted to make a quick point to say, like, my perspective on this is it's a little bit of an overreach. If a municipality is supposed to pay through its tax base for its own infrastructure, it should decide what is best for that municipality, and the standards are the way they are for that specific reason. If everything begins the same, it starts a monopoly, which I'm assuming is also going to inflate several prices, I would like to think. So I do think that, again, not to throw stones, but I do think that maybe it needs just a little bit more fine tuning, and I think you guys are doing a great job of addressing that. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Okay. That comes to an end of the regular meeting agenda items. We will go back into closed session, but before I do, go into closed session, the recording will go in pause mode, and then I'll come back and adjourn the meeting. But I just wanted to make a few comments. I'm going to start with one of the last topics we just had was property standards. And we celebrated community cleanup over the last week, and certainly seen many folks out cleaning the community, but I'm going to highlight three things that I saw. Specifically, obviously, the kids at Seaway cleaning up Iroquois, right? A big group of folks out doing that. But also specifically to Arla Vino cleaning up her entire 2 kilometers of road on number 2 that filled 10 garbage bags, because that's how many bags I let CEO DeHaan know that Jeff Hyman had to pick up Monday morning after her cleanup. And I also, and I never got a chance, by the time I turned around, the person left, but somebody was picking up garbage on Flag Road, and I got to the end, I said, well, I got to go back and see who that was, and then they had left their 3 garbage bags and drove away. So that person on Flag Road, thank you. The community appreciated it. I know there's been lots of people around doing the same, but just some things I thought. But being out in the community, OFA are certainly advertising farm safety, tractors, larger equipment, and they get larger all the time, right on our municipal roads, so be aware of them. And sometimes they have to use a county road to get, from farm to farm, so keep an eye out for that. I spent some time, and the Municipal Brigadier did a great job highlighting the fire department training that was going on last weekend and the next weekend. 4 fire departments, North Dundas, North Stormont, South Glengarry, and South Dundas combining together and doing new recruit fire department training. So hats off to the departments for organizing that and the trainers that are doing that. And finally, 2 things that are happening in May. May is a community living month, so there's activities around that. But if you recall, about 52 weeks ago tonight, we had a young gentleman by the name of Christian Mueller join us, and he was promoting Huntington's disease. So if you remember last year, we proclaimed May Huntington's disease awareness, and it'll be the same, that was ongoing. So we'll, our communications officer will be doing some posts on that as well in that. So with that, I just wanted to make those comments, and with that, we'll move into closed session. So I have a resolution, I resolve that we move into in-camera session at 8:07 PM. Discuss the following items: litigation, plans and instructions for negotiations. Moved by Councillor Ward, seconded by Deputy Mayor St. Pierre. All in favor? Carried. We'll close this recording and return. Let it resolve that council rise and reconvene in open session at 9 PM, moved by Councillor Ward, seconded by Councillor Smith. All in favor? Carried. I have a motion that bylaw number 2026-37 be it a bylaw to adopt, confirm, ratify matters dealt with resolution, be read past open council, signed and sealed, moved by Councillor Smith, seconded by Councillor Vino. All in favor? Carried. Adjourn the meeting to call it the chair at 9:02 PM, moved by Councillor Ward, seconded by Deputy Mayor St. Pierre. All in favor? Carried. And with that, we'll say goodnight from South Dundas.